Thank you, Sadamini. And thank you, Luke. It's a privilege to have you here with us at JLF. And I know a lot of people are looking forward to hearing from you. We've read your books. We've heard about the transformative work you're doing. So Luke has been, it's been 13 years, Luke, that you've been working on integrative and lifestyle medicine.
Yes,
right?
that's right.
There are many books, but today we're here to discuss the calm prescription, okay? Before I get to asking you what got you to get into a title like this, the calm prescription, I was just reading the foreword and, I found it really interesting because when you say, okay, be calm, you generally tell someone, don't get so agitated, calm down, calm down. And sometimes it's taken, people are resentful, it's like, okay, it's like saying, okay, just shut up right now, okay, and be still. It's like you're reprimanding. But I liked what Elizabeth said, and I'm just going to read that out. So she says, calm is not a luxury, it's a leadership skill, a health imperative, and a deeply personal power. Yeah? And it's not a passive state, it's a powerful foundation for clarity, emotional regulation, and conscious decision making. Luke, I want you to answer this now. What got you to write a book and call it the calm prescription?
All right, so today when we look at, most of our patients, and that starts from like a 4th stage cancer to any cancer to diabetes to a pimple on your face, there are symptoms and then you have root causes. For the longest time, the world has looked at treating symptoms. We have great medicine for symptoms. We have great treatments for symptoms, aggressive symptoms. But I want all of you all to reflect right now. Look at the way the world has advanced. We have so much more technology. We have AI. We have nutrition science. We have medical science. But right now, the world isn't getting healthier. If we look at our own country, India, we're the sickest country in the world when it comes to diabetes, cancer, and cardiovascular diseases. Why? Why? There's more medicine, there's more science, there's more technology, but why is disease getting more and more? Because the biggest breakdown that we have right now in healthcare is the fact that we don't look at what is causing disease. What is making us sick? Why do we have diabetes? We still live in a country where people think that because I ate sugar, I got diabetes. But that's not true. Every 5-year-old, 6-year-old who's overdoing it on sugar right now should have diabetes, right? They're now getting it at 9 years old. But the point is, we wrote this book because we figured there's enough of knowledge. There's enough of books on nutrition and exercise. We actually don't need any more information on that. Everyone in this audience already knows what they should be eating and what they shouldn't. We already know that. If you have a complicated condition, sometimes you got to change to eat for that particular disease. But other than that, we already know where we're going wrong with our nutrition. Whether it's the quality of food, the timing, how quickly we're eating, how much, have we got our macros right, we're aware of that. Exercise. We already know you're either doing it, you're not doing it, you're doing too much of it. We don't have a lack of knowledge over there. Now you want to become an athlete or you have a back problem, you may have to take professional advice to figure out what workout works for you. So we don't have that issue there. The science that has always existed, but it's never reached the limelight because you can't make money out of it. I'm going to share that science with you today. Chronic stress and sleep deprivation is the largest accelerator of aging and disease. Wait, it's incomplete. Let me complete it. It even negates the amount of effort put into your nutrition and exercise. What does this mean? You can have the best nutrition and the best workouts, but if you're chronically stressed and you're sleep deprived, it takes away from your nutrition and exercise. Now you would think, where's the focus on this? You can't make money out of this. You can't make money out of stress and sleep. But you can make a lot of money out of nutrition and exercise. Science has always been cherry-picked, and the media puts limelight on what drives trends and fads. Sleeping more is boring. Looking after your stress levels is, oh, how everyone's stressed. But the point is, if we don't learn to correct these things, in our Calm Prescription book, it's led by a lot of oncologists, doctors, neuroscientists, and surgeons from our country and around the world. And the one thing they say is, Luke, we no longer see tumors and cancer cells. We no longer see blockages in arteries. We're seeing stressed out bodies. To a point that even our medication is starting to become ineffective. Your medicines work better in an environment that allows it to work better. So the reason we wrote the Calm prescription was to bring people back on track. And maybe we got to start looking at our mental and emotional health when it comes to calm. Now, don't get me wrong. We're not supposed to be calm all the time. It's impossible. I shouldn't write the book because I'm not calm all the time. The point is, when we get stressed out, how quickly can we come back to a state of calm? That is the magic. We are allowed to get stressed out to very extreme levels. The body can handle that, the heart can handle that, the mind can handle that. But as long as we come back down to baseline. In medicine, it's a term called homeostasis.
Yeah,
and that's
I wanted
what calm
to
is
just
all
get
about.
into that. Absolutely, Luke. Thank you. I just wanted you to, before we get into the techniques, a little more awareness about our nervous system and the fact that, you've called it a two-lane highway, where you have the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. So one is the fight, flight, freeze syndrome, and the parasympathetic is rest, digest, restore.
Yeah.
Yeah? Could you tell us a little about this and how we constantly keep shifting track through the day in our responses to experiences we're going through?
Yeah.
So if you could start with the SNS.
So we're just going to go into a little bit of science, and I'm going to make it as simple for you to understand. But when you understand this today, it's actually going to fix a lot of your problems from digestion, indigestion, acidity, repair, your skin, your hair, at a base level. We have the central nervous system called the CNS. Then you have your peripheral nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight and flight. We need it when we're in a danger zone. We're in that zone when we're arguing, when we're stressed out. It's a beautiful system to be in, as long as we're in that system for a short period of time. It is fight, flight, and freeze. So sometimes people, when the shock is too much, they freeze. They have a nervous breakdown, or they go into shock. The second nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, is your parasympathetic nervous system. This is the magic. When you hear people talking about longevity today, NAD, NMN, all of that stuff, that's scratching the surface. Longevity, health span, and lifespan is how can I spend more time in the parasympathetic nervous system? And I'll tell you why. What happens in the parasympathetic nervous system? It's your rest. You're able to rest deeply. It's your repair. You're able to repair. So if our DNA right now is being affected because of our pollution levels, there's some adulteration in food, we get a virus, we get a bacterial infection, we need our immune system to fight. Our body has to repair rapidly.
Or there's a COVID pandemic that hits.
Yeah, we need repair. And digest. Digestion only happens in the parasympathetic nervous system. So if you're eating when you're stressed, or you're eating really quickly, sending a message to your brain that I'm stressed, that's where all indigestion starts from. We have people whose acidity and indigestion disappears when they start slowing down with their food or eating when they're calm and not when they're stressed. So if you want your body to repair you, there is no supplement in the world that can repair you as much as your own parasympathetic nervous system. Supplements are crutches. They can replace a deficiency, be a little push, but alone they cannot repair you. For example, vitamin D3. Everyone thinks it's great for your bones. It's useless if you don't have the right amount of calcium, K2, and magnesium. So you see, you think D3 is great for your bones. You take D3, but you still have osteoporosis because you don't have what else is needed for D3 to form your bone matrix. So the parasympathetic nervous system, which is when you sleep, when you relax, when you're happy, when you're joyful, this is the system that we're talking about. You're in a state of calm. So when you're in calm, you're in parasympathetic. Sympathetic, fantastic for us. Get extremely stressed, but how quickly can I come back to baseline? In medicine, we call it homeostasis. How quickly can I come back to homeostasis, which is my autonomic nervous system? Heart rate, breath, all of these are controlled by your autonomic nervous system. So now when you understand these systems, if you have a disease or a condition, but you're constantly stressed, do you think you have the environment to heal? You don't. You're taking more and more medicine, which you should. Listen to your doctor. But what if you created the environment for healing to actually happen, repair to actually happen. So you're taking a treatment, but you're also learning how to be calm, how to be in check with your emotions, how to navigate through stresses. The efficacy of your medicine, your supplements, and your food is way more enhanced. So now if you can't sleep at night, it's because you're still in the sympathetic nervous system. You cannot sleep if you're in the sympathetic nervous system. Maybe you'll fall asleep because you're fatigued, but you're not going to go through your deep non-REMs and REMs where the magic happens.
Luke, I'm going to just interrupt you here. This is something that is very common today, not being able to sleep. For people in the audience who are in the SNS mode during the night, how can they actually switch into the PNS mode, the parasympathetic nervous system?
So the only ways you can switch from sympathetic to parasympathetic in less than 2 or 3 minutes, you can do it right now, is with your breath. The moment you slow down your exhales, your cortisol drops. The moment cortisol drops, you shift into parasympathetic. It's biology. That's why breath work, that's why we should be proud as a country of the traditions we have with pranayama, yoga. They're all built to keep us in the parasympathetic nervous system. I'm not against HIIT and all of that. You can pound yourself with weights, etc. But if you don't learn how to come back to the parasympathetic nervous system, it's not really working for us. We're not recovering. So if you want to sleep well at night, you have to be in the parasympathetic nervous system. So how do you get in the parasympathetic nervous system? What you do 30 minutes to an hour before bedtime determines everything. So the kind of thoughts you're trading, maybe you want to journal them, maybe you want to prepare your to-do list for tomorrow, slow down your breathing, maybe a little breath work, listening to music that calms you, reading a book, dimming the lights because you don't want too much of blue light, staying away from your phones or using blue blockers. Some people chant, some people pray, in that prayer they surrender, peace. All of these tools are absolutely free. Now, if you have to take, some people genuinely need anti-anxieties and antidepressants, but a lot of people misuse them because they're not willing to make use of their own parasympathetic nervous system. So I need to switch on the parasympathetic to sleep. If I eat a meal, which is very famous in our country, I still don't understand why people have a heavy biryani and sleep in 1 hour. The point is, you're not sleeping, you're still digesting. For the next 3 to 4 hours, your sympathetic nervous system is on because it's trying to break down the food that should have been digested before you got into bed, which is why keeping a gap of 3 hours, 2.5 hours before your bedtime helps you sleep deeper. So even just plain breath work. And I'll give you an example. I had the privilege of addressing our Indian Army last year right after our Operation Sindoor. And the one commonality I learned amongst our soldiers, the US Marines, the Navy SEALs, the only way they are taught to combat stress is to breath work. Their stress is way different from our stress. It's life and death, microsecond decisions, shoot, don't shoot. They are only trained on breath work to make calm decisions. And that one exercise, I'll tell you right now, one of the most powerful breathing exercises is the 4-7-8. You inhale for 4 seconds through your nostril, you hold for 7 seconds, and you exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds. Scientifically recorded to be dropping your cortisol by 23 to 25% in less than 5 minutes.
Wow.
That's super powerful. So these are different ways that we can activate the parasympathetic nervous system.
Look, I wanted you to just touch briefly on the vagus nerve. I'm not throwing out just scientific names. Just for us to become more aware, that you've said is the key to relaxing ourselves, right? It's that communication between the brain and the different organs, our vital organs. How can we activate the vagus nerve?
All right, so it's very simple. The vagus nerve is there are 10 cranial nerves, and they're all connected to our gut, which is why sometimes if you're nervous, you have that expression, oh, butterflies in my stomach, or you feel stress in your stomach, but the stress is in your head. Perception of a problem, perception of an exam, perception of a threat. Well, why is it hurting my gut? Because there are certain cranial nerves, there's our whole HPA axis that connects the brain to the gut. But the vagus nerve is what moves us between sympathetic and parasympathetic. So now what does the vagus nerve respond to? A vagal tone. So that's why humming. How many of you chant? How many of you do Om chanting? How many of you don't do Om chanting but feel so peaceful when you hear other people doing it? Vibration. The right vibration, the right frequency improves vagal tone. That's why no one likes it when someone raises their tone or speaks angrily. You may love that person, but the moment the tone comes up, it's a step back. Why? It's not the emotion. It's the tone that affects our vagus. It's a complex system of nerves. So if I want to improve vagal tone, I am looking at the top of the chart, we're looking at love, anything that makes you feel loved, or the ability for you to express love in its true form and makes you feel so good that you can give the gift of love, sits at the top of that list.
That's unconditional love.
I wouldn't say unconditional. I'm a huge non-fan of unconditional love, and I'll tell you why. It becomes conditional according to the person you're with. And I'll tell you that puts a lot of stress on people. Unconditional, love me unconditionally. I want to ask you all an honest question right now. I'll lead by example. Every relation I was in, I thought it was unconditional love until I realized that no, there are conditions that need to be met. Even with my mother, I have conditions. I love her. But there are conditions. I know how I can get my way. I know how I can throw a tantrum to whatever. There are conditions. But the only experience of unconditional love in my life has been with my daughter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can't say love can be unconditional for
For
everyone.
human beings, it's transactional. That's not unconditional.
It depends, but the point is, we're humans, there will always be conditions. You need to behave this way, I didn't like this, you didn't like this. So we experience, and some people experience unconditional love in their relationships, and I think that's a beautiful thing. All right, but the point is, love is one of the strongest energies. The strongest energies. Biologically, we know that a newborn baby is put immediately in the mother's arms. If the mother dies at childbirth, she's put in another woman's arms. To raise oxytocin, bonding hormone, it's basically love. The second thing at the top of the list is the ability to feel joy. Anything that makes you feel joyful, minus your alcohol and drugs, that's not joy, that's high, and you think you're joyful. The point is anything. So you can think of something as something that someone said, or you see a beautiful picture or a sunset. That feeling of joy, your vagal tone loves that. The third is gratitude. I'm giving you the simplest things that we can do. Then some of you have songs, certain songs that make you feel so deeply touched. This is all vagal tone. Now let's talk about the things that destroy vagal tone. Sleep deprivation, number one, because we regulate our nervous system when we are rested. Number two, our thoughts. If we're always thinking jealous thoughts, angry thoughts, I said always, we're all humans, everyone in this crowd has all the 7 deadly sins and has the entire human spectrum of all emotions. Let's not deny that, but the point is how we channel it. So the point is, if I'm constantly envious, poor vagal tone, constantly angry, constantly trying to pull down people, that is the lowest vibration available to people. It affects you and it affects the people around. Very simple. So we have to understand these are vagal tones. So things like humming, such a powerful exercise. If you don't Om chant, but all you did was take a deep inhale and you hum through your lips like, what does that humming do? 2 aspects. Vagal tone vibrates, perfect vagal tone piece. From a cardiology aspect, it shoots up nitric oxide, which is one of the most powerful tonics for your heart, which is why singing, humming, all of these things are superpowers when it comes to your calm. When you're always told that if you find yourself alone and you're having a cardiac arrest or a heart attack, your job is to try to cough, violently cough. Why? What are you trying to do? You're trying to get a vibration. What happens when we cough? Expelling mucus is 1, 2 is vibration. So you see, all these things are just connected with simple biology. It's not airy-fairy science. So when you sing, you listen to information. Some of us like certain tones. You play a musical instrument. Someone likes a C minor. Someone likes an A major. Whatever it is. Everyone has a different frequency that makes them feel good. So that is what vagal tone is, and we own it. We have it. We have to just learn how to use it at the right time. So I can get angry really quickly. But then I can also change my thought process around that anger and create a different emotion. Now, this only comes with practice and mindfulness. Mindfulness can only be born in a state of calm. And that's why we prescribe calm.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
So look, I want to go a little back into your journey. I mean, it's been, I was reading up, you grew up in Goa mostly, and you got into hotel management, you had a stint with DJing, then you got into IBM, a corporate job. So you kind of firsthand experienced, a life that was stressful, that was kind of, competitive, and the impact it was having on your body, right? How did it lead you to this thing about integrative and lifestyle medicine? And has it changed you from inside as a person?
Yeah, so I don't honestly have a story as to why I got into this line. I wanted to do hotel management because I was in college fooling around, and my best friend's dad was the general manager of the Taj. We used to spend weekends there, and I saw his benefits: free pool, free room, free, food and stuff. So I said, I want to become the general manager of a hotel. So my dad said, okay, go and do your hotel management, and I hated it from day one. But I was meant to be there because we had a subject called food science and nutrition. And I had to be there to understand that such a subject existed. So I finished my hotel management and I decided to continue studying nutrition, got into the corporate world, worked with IBM for about 10 years. In the 8th year, that's when I started to see our leadership. A lot of them were falling sick, earning a lot of money, traveling first class, Mumbai, New York, and once I was in the elevator, and I'll never forget this conversation of an extremely senior person saying that, my back hurts so much that even a first class seat is not comfortable anymore. So I started to question, what's the point of growth and success if we lose our health?
And all that wealth, right?
All of that together. So I figured that let me get back into nutrition. I was very privileged to have a mentor at Yale, Dr. David Katz, who is still the managing director of Yale University. Flew down to the US, told him what I want to do, and he introduced me to the subject of integrative and lifestyle medicine, where he said work alongside with medicine, get into root causes, all of that stuff. So I figured I was inspired to do that subject, and I decided to come back to India and launch that, and that's been about 13 years. So I don't really have a story. I was privileged to be in a family that was very, cultured around health and outdoor time, and my mom's lunchbox had carrot sticks and cucumber sticks and all of that stuff. So it was always part of our life. It wasn't new. But then, till date, I'm still curious, how can we be the sickest country in the world when we have so much? And the point is, it's our lifestyle, it's our behavior. It's not a lack of information, and it's how our minds are getting corrupted with social media and OTT platforms and, all these distractions that are taking us away from our fundamentals. So right now, we've recently, with a very powerful board of doctors from across the world in India, we've launched a new subject, a new niche of medicine called foundational medicine, which it doesn't matter what you do Ayurveda, you do allopathy, you take chemo, do it, please do it, but have you got the foundations right? Have you built the foundations?
And what are the basic foundations?
The foundations are the food that you eat, your movement. I don't call it exercise because people kind of get turned off with that word immediately. So I call it movement, sleep, your emotional wellness, and your spirit. When I say your spirit, I'm not talking spirituality, I'm not talking religion. That's a choice. I'm talking how connected are you with everything happening around you? How do you feel about yourself? Are you able to live at least part of your authentic self? Are you living just to please other people? Are there certain, past traumas that you need to take care of? So the spirit connects all of that, because if that foundation is right, as humans, we are basically joyful people. If we've lost our joy at some point, it's because of certain life experiences or certain limiting mindsets that we have. When you look at a baby, that's our best example biologically. Baby's always happy. They'll throw a tantrum, but they come back very quickly to being happy and being forgiving. So the point is, we have to learn that that is our innate nature. We're wired to come back to happiness and joy. And today, most of us struggle to do it because, unfortunately, we've gone through life events, or we have the wrong mindsets which are not yet changed. So I think, again, it's get our foundations right. You want to solve a disease, first get your foundation right. Mindset. What is my mindset around this disease? Am I living in fear? Can I heal in fear? No. Should you be scared? Maybe. But can you channel that fear into action? Can you channel that fear into getting the right knowledge rather than making decisions out of desperation and fear? So these are the foundations.
So Luke, I just wanted to ask you that we're talking about spirit and, the sense of vitality and joy. One is that I'm okay. I've regulated and balanced my lifestyle. How important is it for me to feel that I'm part of a community and that I need to also give back, or, in the sense, is it all right that I've got my life and I'm just carrying on? Or if I open myself up I'm hesitating to use a larger purpose. I don't want to go there. But the sense of being able to flow more outward and understand that in that person is also myself. See the connection, the interconnectedness. That's what I'm getting to. Does that matter to my overall holistic health, or will it aid me in my journey?
So social connections are extremely important, and the quality of social connections. You know, a lot of people, I'll talk specifically about India, because in my experience working with patients and clients around different parts of the world, communities are very, very different. In India, we have some very strong communities, and then we have communities that are meant for status. Very empty, shallow communities, but need it to happen because one day you may marry your daughter into that family and stuff like that. Very conditional. These don't serve you. These actually stress you out. But communities can be as small as 4 or 5 people that you know, they got my back. I can be vulnerable. I can be my authentic self. I can express. I don't have to feel that, oh, I'm going for this party, I have to dress up today, otherwise people will judge me. No, I go as I am. I respect whatever the dress code is, or I don't go for the party. That's a choice. But the point is, I'm comfortable. Imagine socializing when you're uncomfortable. Which nervous system are you in? Sympathetic.
Yeah.
Sympathetic. It goes down to these little things. Today everyone's looking, not everyone, most people are looking for validation, constant validation, attention. Of course, attention and validation is extremely important. There are 3 cores of every human being. 1 is feeling loved and ability to love. 2 is validation, acknowledgement, attention, just the right amount. And 3 is a sense of belonging. You take away any one of these from a child or a senior citizen or an adult, and you will see the negative repercussions that come. You give all these 3 back to a child or any adult or a senior citizen, they will thrive. Because this is what everyone in the deepest senses is moving towards. Why do we want to grow? We want respect, validation. Okay? All of this. Why are we doing what we do? Why are you earning so much of money? If you actually break it down, it comes down to the elements of love, attention, feeling like, wow, I can do this, I can have this, I belong to this community, I can help my family, etc. It all comes down to that. All comes down to that. So the whole point is we have to understand that when we look at socializing and community today, you have to ask yourself, is this serving me or is it making me feel worse? I know so many people who have healed when they got out of the wrong company, the wrong relationships, or the wrong communities. Because you can't heal in an environment that's toxic. Who makes up your environment? The people you spend the most time with. So I think social being, the interconnectedness of people will always be there. But I think it's more realistic, in your small groups. It can't be with the whole world. Today, well, let's be honest, you can't trust everyone in this world. As much as we want our children to roam freely and travel, etc., we can't. The world is a dangerous place. We have to be cautious. We got to be careful. Which is why we can't look at interconnectedness at a macro level. And it was never meant to be a macro level. You have a small group, cherish interconnectedness, it's good for you. We don't need millions of followers to feel loved. In fact, most of my clients who have millions of followers are actually depressed, even though they have so much of attention, because it's not real, it's not what the human soul wants. Some people have a few friends, powerful friends, and they are rich, emotionally, mentally. So it's so important for us to understand that social connection doesn't have to be with the larger audience. It has to be with those few people. And if your circle is small and your circle is strong, you have a powerful medicine in your life. A lot of people build great circles. Oh, I know him. Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, I know that. Empty, shallow. You still feel empty within. So that's the importance of interconnectedness.
Thanks, Luke. I'm going to just tap into some of the practice. So the very practical guidelines, 75 ways to calm yourself. I would like you to just take the audience through some of them, which is, practically possible, starting with the physiological sigh.
Okay.
Are you ready to do it all with Luke?
So it's very simple. It's extremely simple. So what you want to do is now take a really deep breath and then just sigh. So through your mouth. So it's like a... This is one of the most powerful things you can do when you are extremely stressed. But now, I must put a disclaimer. If you're hyperventilating, you don't want to do this at that point. All right? It can actually make you more stressed. There's always the right time to do it. So a sigh. So when you cry, right, have you ever felt those little sobs that come in between? Watch kids, adults do it. It's your own body's biology trying to train your breathing to keep your heart rate in place. Naturally done by your own body. Naturally done. That's why they say never stop a baby from crying. Never stop a baby from crying. You shouldn't. You shouldn't stop an adult from crying as well. But the point is, you can move them to a quieter room, but you can do that. But the point is to understand that so what you just did was you filled yourself with oxygen and with a sigh. And that's why I said, remember, the power is in your exhale. The longer you can make your exhale. Let's try one now. Well, let's say you take a deep breath. Some people your inhale may be 3 seconds, some of you may be 4, some of you may be 5. It's not a competition, no prize, whatever works for you. Take a deep, if it's 3 seconds, then I want your exhale to be 6 seconds. Ratio, 1:2. If your inhale is 4 seconds, your exhale is 8 seconds. And do this really slow. So your inhale can be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your exhale is through your mouth. All right? You can also do the exhale through your nostril if you want, but I always suggest that if there's a little more stress, you want to increase the surface area, so your respiratory surface area is larger. So what you can do is now, everyone just try it, okay? Inhale, and then double the exhale, really slow, and just do this twice, and just see how you feel. Your life problems won't disappear, okay? The change is happening inside your body, all right? So you may want to try this right now. Let's go. Inhale. And double your exhale through your mouth. You can add the sigh to it if you want. That's up to you. Try to double it. If you can't, you'll get it with practice. Let's do one more. As you're doing this right now, there's magic, there's communication in your body. Like I said, your problems may still be there, but you're dropping cortisol. You're sending an immediate message. The breath is slowed down. There's no stress. Lower cortisol, lower adrenaline. You're coming slowly back to homeostasis. That's why pranayama is one of the most powerful medicines. That's why your surgeon will always tell you, after surgery, go home, rest, and breathe deeply. Because there's a complete science on how it brings down inflammation. Yeah? So that's one thing that you can do, and yeah.
Yeah, and it is so simple. I mean, and there's some amazing, there's this lovely one which is called slump, dump, and pump.
Yeah.
Which, do you remember?
Yeah. I wrote the book, yeah.
I don't think they can be able to do it right now, but you could just tell us very briefly, quickly.
So again, all right, think of someone you really don't like, or an event. I see people smiling. Okay, all right, think of someone that you don't like, or an event that you didn't really like, something that happened in your life and stuff. In your mind, you've either magnified it, which has caused your suffering. Your mind did that. Now imagine if, I see this person, now I just close my eyes, and I'm reducing this person to a piece of crumpled paper, and I just throw it in the dustbin. All right? You have no idea how powerful this is. This is used in CBT, this is used in neuroplasticity. It's amazing. It's amazing, because think, it has to work this way if it worked for the negative. Now think of the person that you don't like and keep thinking about them. How's it going to make you feel? I can already see the smiles of most people have actually disappeared. But your mind is doing that, right? The person is the same. This is how we use our mind. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between a truth and a lie. It does not know the difference between imagination and reality. That is the power of the subconscious mind. It can work both ways for us. We can use it positively, we can use it negatively. So in Abu Dhabi, in Ajman, I had the privilege to spend some time in jail, not as a prisoner, but with the prisoners. And it was so amazing to learn how people who had committed really bad crimes actually at one point believed that they were right to do it. Because that's what they kept telling their mind. I need money. I was born in a bad family. I was abused as a child. And they made the lie an actual truth. That was their subconscious mind. And many of us are operating from all of us are operating from our subconscious mind. So if there's a bad habit, it's in your subconscious mind first. So when we do the slump, dump, and the pump, in the army, there's a very, very quick way to relax. They say, immediately, just think you're a bag of potatoes, a sack of potatoes. Okay, when you put a sack of potatoes on the ground, what happens? It just collapses. Yeah. Forget about posture, forget about what your yoga teacher said now. So you slump in any position that is the most relaxed for you. All right? That's the slump. All right? Now in your mind, you want to take all those negative events that you have. Usually don't do too many at one point, just take one of them. All right? You pump your mind with what you want to change. And then you imagine it visually, dumping it into a dustbin. Dumping it into a dustbin, dumping it into it is unbelievable how you feel after a while. Because the same mind is creating the problem for you when you think too much about it. So how do you get rid of that thought? Actually, visually, by pushing it out. some human brains, to forget trauma, they can actually build a wall to try to never think about the trauma that happened. The brain can actually do that. You can actually forget someone if you train your mind to forget that person completely. It's not the healthiest thing to do, but that's how powerful the mind is. So slump, dump, and pump is very simple. Sometimes just in your deepest relaxation, fill the negative, just dump. It doesn't have to be in a dustbin. People have different ways. Some people think that this person is just melting into an ash. Some people get aggressive in their ways of how they want the problem to disappear. But the point is, keep it simple, and the idea is remove it. Because the mind, you're constantly putting stuff in. How do you get it out? So visualization is a very powerful way for us to help us navigate through our changed emotions through changed thoughts.
And the pump is that you bring in positive thoughts then.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of replacing a negative with a positive usually. And
What would pump be then?
What's that?
Pump, because this is slump, dump, and pump.
Yeah, no, so the slump, dump, the pump is filling your mind with what you want to get rid of.
Okay.
That's how it is.
Okay.
The negative, everyone says, oh, stop thinking negative. Do you think it's possible? It's impossible. And the more you try to stop a negative thought, the more it'll become. That's how it is. The best way is to change the neural pathway. So if I'm thinking a negative thought that he doesn't like me, he doesn't like me, she doesn't like me, over and again, I'm making that neural pathway in my brain stronger and thicker through repetition. Now, if I want to change that, you can't get rid of that. You got to ride on it. You got to override on it. So he doesn't like me, but I have other friends and I feel loved. And now you put a new suggestion or a thought. And the more I keep repeating that, the previous negative thought slowly starts to lose its value. So you can never get rid of a bad habit. You can only build a good habit over a bad habit by repetition, repetition, repetition. That's just how the amazing brain works. That's how the subconscious mind works.
Wonderful. I think we're going to open this out to questions right now.
Sure.
Yeah? If you all could put up your hands. We've got, I think, limited time. Okay, could we start with the gentleman right here? And okay, yeah. Where are the mics? Okay, yeah. And I would really urge you to just come to the point. No comments, just ask the question, please.
And please, no medical questions. I'm not allowed to answer them. Right?
Hi, my name is Jay, and I wanted to ask you this question. So, you said that sleep and stress management is one of the most important things.
Yeah.
But when in real life, these two are the ones that we easily compromise. So, how can we change that mentality? Because for us, it's very easy to just not sleep to complete our work or ignore any emotion to not face the situation. But this is very important.
So the only way that you can get better at something that we're not good enough at is repetition. We got to make that neural pathway in our mind. So till now, we were not doing it. But now if we start doing it and we do it with repetition, repetition, and repetition, it's like, how many push-ups can you do?
12, 15. Not more.
15, okay. Do you think you can do 50?
With time.
With time. So your 15 push-ups will become 16. You'll practice that. Then 16 will become 17. You will reach 50, 100%. It's always repetition and consistency. So we've not given it value before, right? We've never given sleep value. We've never given navigating stress value because we say everyone's doing it. But now because you have a value to add it to it and you start adding the action of consistency, that's how you will make it part of your life. Okay?
On sleep, I just want to ask you, do you need to keep in mind the circadian rhythms? You know, does it have, your body clock have to be in sync with that? Or just 8 hours could be any time of the day or night?
It's not about the quantity of sleep. It's not about 7 or 8 hours of sleep. It's about the quality of sleep that you have. Some people sleep 9 hours and wake up tired. Some people sleep 6 hours, deep REMs, non-REMs, and wake up absolutely ready for the day. So it's always the quality of sleep, and the more we align it with circadian rhythms and timings, the more effective it is.
Oh, that helps. All right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yes? Sure.
Hi, Luke.
Hi.
I wanted to check, I actually wanted to know, which in your experience is harder to heal, the mind or the body, and why?
It's connected.
I think, yeah, they're both connected, but I think it's the mind, because our mind is always open. It's like a sponge. We're taking in so much all the time. And that's what makes it difficult for us to arrive at a decision to do something, stay consistent with something. So I think it's more challenging for the mind, and that's why practices like mindfulness allow us to actually start having clarity of what we really should do, what noise we should leave out of our lives, what we need to bring into our lives. The physical body is pretty simple. You put it through the right movement, you give it the right food. It's the mind that is always a little bit more challenging, because every day we're absorbing more and more of emotions, content, people's opinions, everything around. So unless we have those moments of mindfulness, or we cultivate mindfulness, the mind starts to control almost every part of us. So that's the challenge. Yeah.
Thank you. One person this side. Okay, the lady there in the red, yeah.
Hi, Luke.
Hi.
It was wonderful listening to you.
Thank you.
I got clarification on so many aspects. My question to you is that when we talk about meditation, so generally it is recommended that we do for 10-15 minutes. But then throughout the day, if my body is in sympathetic nervous system, how does that 15 minutes of being in parasympathetic nervous system is going to affect the rest of the day?
It's an excellent question. The intention of meditation, we should always get the intention of meditation right. Meditation is not a practice for us because we need to stay calm throughout the day. Meditation is for us is to be calm so we can bring mindfulness to our thoughts, our lives, and our actions. So in my morning meditation, if I've set my intentions and if I'm aware of what's happening, that gives me clarity and strength to go through my day in a calmer way. But meditation isn't a quick fix tool that, hey, come back to the sympathetic nervous system. It's a nice way before bedtime, the day is over, reflection, but meditation is really about mindfulness. How do I get clarity of mind? How do I train my mind that when I'm in a state of stress, I can mindfully come back to, okay, let me relax, let me take it easy. So that's the intention of meditation. It's not to create calm in our life, because you're only doing it for maybe 15 minutes or 10 minutes in a day, right? So we use meditation for mindfulness, to learn how to bring clarity. Who was I in that stressful position? Who could I have been? Could I have done this better? That clarity, reflection, allows us to correct our actions. That's how it is.
A meditative state of mind, which is like relaxed alertness. I'm alert at all times. And, yeah.
I don't think so. I think that's only possible for people in the Himalayas and ashrams and stuff. It's not practical to real life. We can't be in a meditative state of calm all the time. We have to be alert. Try crossing a road in India. Which mindset would you choose now? Meditate? No. So the idea is, we shouldn't try to be anything. We should just try to be aware. Okay, it was stressful crossing this road, but now I crossed the road. Let my stress come down. Don't let my mind start thinking, oh, I hate the country, I hate this, the law and order is a problem, the police. We extend our thoughts and emotions. So I would like to use the idea that we need more awareness. It's not possible for us to be in a meditative calm, and I don't think we should even try, unless we're in the right environment, which is in the mountains or in an ashram or somewhere else. It's quite difficult to do that. So I would focus more on something that's realistic, which is awareness.
I didn't mean meditative state was calmness. I said relaxed alertness.
Relaxed alertness. Yeah, that's beautiful. Be relaxed, but be alert. What's happening around you? Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Okay, here. Okay, someone at the back. Is there? Okay, yes? Yeah.
Hi, Luke.
Hi.
Hello.
I just want to know that how do we control our cortisol level if we are doing workout in the morning and then going throughout the day with a high cortisol, and that makes us naturally stress, right? So I just wanted to know that what is your prescription towards it?
How do you know you have high cortisol all through the day?
Because it's stressful. The day is very stressful. It is very irritated all the time, and I can feel it that in the morning while after running, immediately it's affecting my throat, my entire day. And the days when I'm not running, I'm in my calm state, then it's a totally different scenario.
Cortisol has nothing to do with that. Cortisol is pushed up in your body depending on your actions. So after your workout, if your cortisol has not come back down again, it's because your mind continues to think and be stressed. Cortisol is a normal hormone. It's a messenger. When we wake up in the morning, it's already high. Now, if you choose to have coffee right after you wake up and shoot up cortisol higher and then go for your workout, but then you don't have enough of cool down and recovery, that's what's making you feel that way. Cortisol goes up and down, but it's mainly control on our breath. So when you're doing a run, your cortisol will be high because you're breathing shorter. But the moment you're in recovery, it'll come down. If you're working out in the morning on a sleep-deprived body, you are going to have higher levels of cortisol. So I would say change your goal from cortisol to trying to be in a more relaxed state. Have you invested in your recovery? Are you eating the right foods post your workout that can actually break down lactic acid, bring down your hormones, etc.? And be more aware of what's happening in your mind. So any physical activity will involve cortisol. If I ask all of you all right now to get up and sit down 5 times, cortisol will go up for that action to happen. So it's not really cortisol. A lot of people are making cortisol the enemy. It's not really the enemy. It's just doing what it does best, reacting to our breath and our heartbeat. So that's how it is. So you got to look into detail about how this works for you. Yeah?
Okay, we have
I-
one question left.
Okay, so I have even tried doing pranayam after running. So like giving 10 to 15 minutes break and then doing some breath work. It helps at the moment, but in the meantime, like throughout the day, it still keeps.
Okay, we're running short of time.
Yeah, I can't diagnose this problem. I have a lot of questions. I need to know if you smoke, drink, vape, how many hours you sleep, the condition of your... I mean, all that plays a big deal. It's never about to work out alone, right? Maybe your state of mind is always to be anxious. I don't know your work. I don't know what you do. So when I have this information, I can be very specific with my answer to help you. All right? Thank you. Yeah.
I'm sorry, we've run out of time. We've got 20 seconds left. All I want to say is, Luke, are you signing books outside?
No, I don't think so. I'm not
No?
sure.
No signing?
Signing books? We are? Okay. Yeah, we are signing.
There will be. Okay. So
right.
Luke's going to be outside. You weren't told
Yeah,
this.
no one told me anything, but I'm calm. Chill out.
So you can, the reason I'm saying this to you is for all your answers, do pick up the book. And when you're getting it signed by Luke, you have a chance to interact.
No, ma'am, please.
Huh?
No questions while I'm signing.
No questions?
Because the other people will get held up, please.
All right.
Just signing the books.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.